Bar Heights here at Supreme Courts, and we are joined by Coach Natasha Smallwood of the Susan Moore Bulldogs, senior guard Caitlin Hill, and senior force inside, who I call the X Factor, Lacey Floyd. So, Coach, just watching your team, I've admired you guys for the last, or girls for the last probably, I don't know, 3 to 5 years. One of the most enjoyable games to do at the same time, one of the biggest heartbreaks, right to the elephant in the room. But it's been a progression. We'll get into in a minute. First off, what about these play dates? And do you like this format? Because we didn't really have a lot of this back in the day.
Well, we're used to the play dates during the summer. And, you know, sometimes I think we can overplay. Sometimes we might need some time in the gym to practice on scenarios and fundamentals and things like that. But the game time in the summer is really good for all your players. And that's what I tell them. It's all about improving each game we play for everybody, not just a few people.
So girls, first of all, for you, Lacey, tell me what you like about playing with your senior friend Caitlin, and what's good about her game, and what does she bring to this team as far as leadership?
Well, I like playing with her because we've been playing since second grade together. Yeah. And so if she wants to do something, then I know right then that she wants to do it because we've just been playing that long with each other.
It's just the mental aspect of camaraderie and understanding how each other plays. So, Caitlin, what about Lacey? What do you enjoy about playing next to her?
So me and Lacey, we read each other pretty well on the floor, so she knows like when I'm gonna pass it, she'll know it. But yeah, we have been playing for a really long time.
Y'all are friends off the court too, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can kind of tell that, Coach. All right, so let's literally go through this progression of the last 4 years. Sweet 16 in Jacksonville, Final 8 in Jacksonville, Final 4 through Hanceville, and final game last year.
Yes.
Well, I mean, just in overtime, so close. What has to happen? I'm going to ask them about their individual weaknesses. What is the weakness of this team last year, and what do you have to change from now to the first year on into February to get over that hump, to get that blue out?
Honestly, I think it's the mental confidence, period. I think all of our players have got to gain that mental confidence, some more than others, but they all can use that confidence, because if you can step out on the court during that game and produce and know that you can produce, then whoever's mentally the strongest there, you got to be physically strong, but you got to be mentally strong to overcome it. And I think that's what we've got to work on.
There's so many aspects of the game that are mental, and in my opinion, I played small school basketball 3A just like y'all. There's so many opportunities just that you have to understand when is the bonus. You know, when does the other team have their best player and the shot fake and maybe get a foul or something like that. So individual weaknesses. Lacey, if there's something that you need to work on between now and the season, the coach has been on you, or that you know needs to progress, what is that one aspect of the game that you need to work on?
Probably scoring more.
From where? Like
Inside the
facing
paint.
up, inside the paint, and transition, all of it. You just need more points out of you. Does that mean that you need to be more active, maybe? Or how are you going to get those points is my question. Tough question.
It is very tough. I guess whenever I just get the ball down low, because I usually pass it back out to my guards, just whenever I get it down low, I need to be more active down there and shoot more down there.
180-degree turn. You don't turn far enough. That's all I've seen. But like, she's the X factor in there because there's so many little points, so many things. If you do get more aggressive, and more free throws as well will come from that. All right, so Caitlin, what about you? You run this team. You do so many of those little things. A lot of the dirty work, you know, that doesn't go in the stat sheet. But what's the one thing that you would like to get better in your game before the start of the season?
Probably shooting the ball more. They've preached to me about that for a long time now. I'm used to giving that extra pass up.
Unselfish person.
I just need to shoot the ball more.
I never met a shot I didn't like. And that was just me. I always joke with Coach George Hassey on the AU team. He's the only coach that ever told me to quit shooting it. You know, so, but it is confidence, like you said, Coach. So speaking of confidence, not just players, but as a coach, you know, I was able to go and lose the state championship. A couple of them as a player, and then as a coach as well. And from your experience in all these games leading up, especially, have you learned anything from going to Birmingham in those games that you might do differently or prepare differently?
Oh, absolutely. I think every year you as a coach, we should learn something. You know, if it's from games that you've lost, even games you've won, you learn something from those games. And I think that in our run this past year and each year following, we've had to make a few adjustments each year. And that my thing now is just, you know, we've got to have depth. We've got to have depth. And we've got to also play defense without fouling as much.
Yes. Well, and that was one of the things
Being
last year.
aggressive without fouling.
Yes.
You know? So that's the one thing I think we've got to really tweak.
And it was like, I mean, it's amazing in basketball sometimes how it comes down to that inkling.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not really something that you, but if one more body was ready, maybe you don't get into some of that foul shots last year. The last 4 years y'all played in these games, you know, in these difficult games, especially the last two. If you could, just what about that experience, you know, playing in those games in Birmingham? Just give me a little bit about how that was, you know, do you get nervous? Is it louder? The lights bigger? Just if you could, first of all, point guard, speak a little bit to that.
Yeah, it definitely is overwhelming at first, but once you like start playing a little bit, your nerves get calmed down. But yeah, it can be overwhelming at times, but
It gets easier
Yeah.
every time you go. What about you?
Yeah, at first it's very nerve-wracking because you're just in there about to play and you just keep thinking and thinking. And whenever you get on the court, it just all just stops being nervous and then you're just playing. It's just a regular play for me after I get the nerves out.
It is. All right, so Coach, last question before we move on, or before we stop. Why do you step out and play bigger schools? Like what some might say, better competition, if you will. Y'all can play with anybody, but why is that so important for your program
I
to do
think we
that?
have to face challenges throughout the year. We've got to be ready in that tournament, in the stretch at the end, and we've got to know that we faced it all in season, and we can work out the kinks and you know, fix little things throughout the year. So when tournament time comes, we're ready, and nothing's going to be new to us, and we're confident that we can. And if we play bigger schools, you know, and they may beat us, you know, but those games challenged us, and they made us have to play really hard and take on the, like what I tell them, get out of their comfort zone.
Absolutely.
You know, we've got to make it as uncomfortable as possible in as many games as we can, so that when that big moment comes, they're ready. They're ready. And that's the thing about it, like, each year, there was always a new factor. You know, like, oh, we're getting to play on the big court now, you know, which the COVID year, we were at the multiplex, you know, or not multiplex, but at, you know, anyway.
Fairgrounds.
Yeah, the fairgrounds. You know, so last year, it was BJCC, the dream, you know, of every coach, every player.
Absolutely.
So that was new, and getting to play that first game, you know, but then after that, it's like, hey, we're here now, you know, and let's go do the best we can. And, but we do have unfinished business.
X Factor, Lacey, give me the storybook ending to your senior year, and then you add one or two statements to it.
Well, story ending. Just want to win the state championship game.
100%.
that's the last goal we have not finished.
It's the only one. I love your team. I love how you coach. I love all you young coaches out there. Coaches have to be coachable too. And when you hear a coach say, hey, going through these experiences and how you learn from them, what's going to be next, I expect to see big things from the Susan Moore Lady Bulldogs. Thank you, ladies, for joining us, and we look forward to following you throughout the season.
So much.